We've got new and exciting guitars from Fender. It is the new Fender Player Plus series. We're going to tell you all about it. Stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name's Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
Actually, I'm Chris McKee Plus.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg Plus.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom designed t-shirts and other swag. All right, so let's follow along. It's like there's Apple TV Plus, there's Disney Plus, there's ESPN Plus, and then this following nomenclature that's popular in our society today, we've got Fender Player Plus.
Interesting, because there was a Player Plus top. So if you're looking at old website,
they haven't come out with those yet, but could you imagine if they do?
A plus top.
Yeah, so it'd be a Fender Player Plus top.
Yeah, and then if just in the way we word stuff, it's like plus a case on like
on the tag.
Yeah, this is just so much added value here that we're plussing onto these guitars. Jokes aside, they are cool though.
I love it. I love these
nice,
guitars.
yeah.
So these are pretty awesome. We're going to go through and tell you about what's new in the range. It is a new range that sits really at the top end of the guitars that are built in Ensenada, Mexico for Fender in Fender's factory. And I think they're fantastic. Definitely some new finishes we're going to go over, a lot of new features. And there's several guitars that are available. So we've got two Strats.
Two Strats.
Two Tellys.
Yeah, we've got a Nashville Telly and just a Telly.
And then not here are a P-Bass and two jazz basses, a jazz 4-string and a 5-string as well, that are all part of this lineup. And these guitars, to kind of put it in frame to start with, Player Plus is to Player what Ultra is to Pro 2.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I think they honestly, in the vein of Fender American Ultra, they could have easily called these the Fender Mexican Ultra. I mean, it's like, you don't hear them put Mexican in the name like they put American
Maybe
in the name.
Maybe there's a wrestler that already has that name.
Yeah, Mexican Ultra or something.
It's a really good wrestler name.
That is pretty good. But it's basically the same, a lot of the same features, and I would say a lot of the feel that we talk about that you get out of American Ultra guitars or something. A lot of that's here, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not exactly the same. I'm sure that the satin finish on the back of these necks is not like the super natural satin or ultra satin and that kind of stuff.
It's close.
But it feels really, really great.
Yeah.
So let's break down some of the new features. We'll talk about the Strats first, and then we'll move on to the Tellys. So
you got the Reggie Strat, and I said this before, and I was debating whether or not to say it, but Fender went to a very bold place by going into Photoshop and changing the gradient from burst to up and down.
Just click the button.
They just clicked the button and they're like, that looks cool. I mean, it's all right, yeah.
This Stratocaster, 3 single coil Stratocaster, comes in a variety of finishes.
Yes.
This one is called Tequila Sunrise. But in our store, as I just learned, thanks to Maylene here, I am forever now calling it Mango and Chamoy.
It makes it way better.
Which, if you're in Idaho, you're missing out. Like, I know you don't know what Mango and Chamoy is, but in South Texas, we do, and it's awesome. So.
Plus, Mango and Chamoy makes it much more of like a family-friendly guitar,
Versus Tequila Sunrise?
Yeah.
You mean someone doesn't want to buy their 15-year-old?
Yeah, minors couldn't play the Tequila Sunrise, but now, luckily, with some
it's just
clever
marketing, some
grenadine,
we'll just have to,
that's great.
Fine.
Yeah, I guess the big thing to jump into is the fact that it's noiseless pickups right off the bat. So all of these have noiseless pickups, but 3 noiseless single coils. This is not a noiseless humbucker.
It's because it's pointless?
Because it's bucking the hum.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. This is a double tap humbucker, correct?
Yes.
And all of them have switching in the tone knob, which is easier on yours than it is mine.
Yeah, mine sits a little higher up on the pot stem, I guess.
Yeah, which is weird because, I mean, the American Pros are like that. You can kind of tell with the push, it's sitting a little bit higher. I don't love that. I like it to be flush with the rest of them. So I have that over here, but it makes it harder to snag, but if
Yeah.
you can get under there with a nail, you're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on both of the Strats, the switching is different. The push-pull on here splits the coil of the humbucker.
This one does one of my favorite tricks on a Stratocaster, which is it adds the neck pickup to your position at 1 and 2. So 1 is your bridge, and 2 is bridge and mid. So if you have it in first position and you pull this and you add the neck, that's that wider range sound like you get from a Telecaster in the middle position. And then if you add it in the second position, you've got all 3 pickups on, which is a really cool sound. I've got an old 2003 Fender Fat Strat that had S1 switching, and that's one of my favorite settings on the guitar, is all 3 on.
Obviously, they're a little... First of all, this is the one that makes me think of the Ultra
Because of the burst?
The burst and the humbucker, everything.
Now that is called Silver Smoke.
This is not Silver Smoke.
No.
That's why it's so...
That's Silver Burst.
So confusing.
Yeah, okay.
The colors we have... Don't pretend like we don't have the cheat sheet over here.
Because we do.
But there's a lot. This is Silver Burst, and then in the American there's Mercury Burst, and then there's Silver Burst in the Ultra Luxe.
Yeah.
There's also Silver Smoke, which is that style gradient.
Yes.
And it's not available on all of them. All the, kind of funky colors, I think the only one that's available on everything is 3-tone Sunburst.
I mean, in fairness, back in the 50s when the guitars were introduced and people were making YouTube videos back then, they had to memorize things like Candy Apple Red and Lake Placid Blue. It takes some time.
It takes some time.
To get into the guitar zeitgeist.
It's always been,
If you go back to 50s YouTube videos, I'm sure they were making the same mistakes.
They were calling stuff ebony instead of black. I mean, they had so much to choose from back then. Palfaro on here.
Yeah, Maple
on
and Palfaro available like typically in the lineup for the Player series. And these have really nice satin finishes, locking tuners.
Locking tuners.
Locking tuners with short posts. So let's talk a little bit about that because that's a nice feature that's often overlooked. There's a few features I want to point out that are often overlooked. So the short post locking tuners, which you typically have seen on higher end American Fender stuff, is a nice thing because what it does is it creates more of a breakover angle here at the nut. And that improves tuning stability, but also helps with the feel. And that's why you only have the 1 string tree. If you look at older models of Fender guitars from back in the 90s and stuff, even the 70s, there were often 2 string trees because this single string, like basically without a string tree, you didn't provide enough downward force on the D and G strings and they could pop out of the nut slot. And they just also didn't sound very good. But you alleviate that by having the short post on the locking tuners, and then of course the restring ease when it comes to just tightening the thumb wheel and locking the tuner in place.
I mean, it's really nice to not have your G string pop out of the nut slot.
It's always the worst.
So let's move on.
It was low-hanging fruit there, Cooper.
Yeah, to the Telecasters.
And all of these, we talked about the neck. All of these have that satin feel on the back of the neck, and they all have rounded edge on the fretboard with medium jumbo frets.
Yeah, and you can really feel it on all of these, but especially it's kind of harder to see with the lighter wood. On the Palfaro, you can see like where there was filing. It's really, really nice and comfortable.
Well, they're handmade.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much. There's CNC work that goes in making the parts, but they're handmade. There's so many hand processes that go into it, including the shaping of the sides of the fretboard and whatnot.
So I'm visibly cheating here, but I want to talk about some of the other finishes that we don't have because this one's pretty interesting and it does kind of require, this is aged candy apple red.
So I have a question about aged candy apple red. This is a semantic question, really. Does this mean that this is what candy apple red looks like when it ages? Or is this what happens if you age an apple and then make it candy colored? Like, is this an apple that's been sitting on my table too long? Is that the color?
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing. Also, I think Fender has some stuff to answer here because you can get an aged like Closet Classic or Journeyman or even Heavy Relic Candy Apple Red. Where's this been?
It's very coppery.
This is copper, but it's aged
but it's
Candy
not
Apple
penny.
Red. Yeah.
Because American Special has penny, which is different. This is, I would call this aged penny. This is penny been in your pocket too long.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment here to talk about some new features in the filtering of our website. Before, every single guitar that we had ever had its specific color listed out, and it made it very hard to navigate. So
Well, and it was difficult because we had to figure out the difference between surf green and
Seafoam green,
and Seafoam green,
and Daphne blue and Sonic blue, which, if you're out there, that was me talking to you in the comments. They are different. Sonic blue and
they
Daphne
are
blue.
different. I got in trouble once for calling Dakota Red Fiesta Red, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. They're both red. One looks
Yeah.
Campbell's Cup of
What about
Soup.
Torino red, dude?
Yeah.
Race red?
Yeah,
So, anyway, it's broken down now to
general color.
general colors.
Yeah.
So if you think that this is red, put it in the comments because I'll filter it under red. If you think it's more goldy,
I'm gonna go
you
with red.
so the thing is, the good part about our website is we can double list. We can put things into different things. So plasma red burst, it can go in red and burst.
You know,
It's all
it
good.
kind of looks like my truck. Technically, my truck is bronze fire.
A little bronze fire. This is the King Ranch Lariat, I think, right here. So Telecaster regular, Telecaster Nashville,
Plus plus.
plus plus Nashville plus deluxe plus.
Yeah.
Butterscotch blonde.
Yep. This one comes in butterscotch blonde, aged candy apple red, and opal spark.
Opal Spark and Cosmic Jade and Olympic Pearl are other finishes that are available that are solid colors.
Love these names.
They are nice. So the Cosmic Jade, it's a greenish. Opal Spark is a bluish, kind of something.
It's like
Olympic Pearl,
light bluish.
like a pearlescent kind of Olympic white. It's really nice. There's also, like we talked about, the gradient finishes. That's where your Silver Smoke comes in and your Bel Air Blue.
Now that's available on that guitar, right?
I believe
that
so.
one comes in Bel Air blue.
It's like a dark blue to light blue to white. It's pretty. It's cool.
Yeah.
They're definitely going after the Miami Vice crowd with the Tequila Sunrise, the Bel Air Blue, and
what
all
you
that
need is buy the Tequila Sunrise, and then in the American Pro 2 buy the Miami Blue, and you've got your bases covered. And we're gonna show you photos of all of these pictures, and
'Cause
of
they're
course
cool.
they're up on our website, so you can check each color out as well. So
Yeah.
or they
and-
will be by the time this video comes.
Yeah, and pickup switching on here, it's cool because in other Telecasters, you'll hit the middle switch, you'll do the push-pull or your push-push, it'll send them into series instead of parallel.
Well, let's qualify that. Not all Telecasters do that. Some Telecasters do that, and that's how that works
Yes,
on those.
yes.
But in this case,
So that's how
It
it's
don't
done
matter.
with the American Pro 2,
Yeah.
correct, and the American Ultra. This is cool because, say, on my Ultra Jazzmaster, you're switching overrides everything else, which is cool. So you can go into your both pickups in series anywhere. So you can just be on one or in the middle, and this does that.
so
you
your
can,
three-way toggle works like it normally would. Neck, both, or bridge.
yeah.
And then, regardless of selection, you pull up the tone pot and you've got both in series.
When it's time to rock, boom, you're rocking. And it sounds great. I really like that tone with the tellies. On that one, it's different.
This one is if a Telecaster and a Stratocaster had a love child. This is what you get, and it was born in Nashville.
Sounds like a good guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, he lives in Nashville. He hangs out at Robert's Western World, and he can do everything. So this butterscotch variation, which I love, this is just so great. By the way, can you believe that's alder? It's very ashy looking alder, isn't it?
That's Ashy Alder right there.
But all of these bodies are alder. It's one of the things Fender was very specific about. But yeah, this very ashy looking butterscotch blonde telly does some tricks. So you've got a 5-way switch instead of a 3-way because you've got that middle pickup, and it's a Stratocaster pickup. So you've got your typical Telecaster bridge, Telecaster neck pickup, a Stratocaster pickup in the middle, and then you can access your typical kind of Strat setup through the 5-way switch. It is going to sound a little different because if you're in position 2, then it's a Tele bridge pickup with a Strat mid pickup. So it's just going to be a little different. Same thing in 4. You're going to get that cool, smooth, Stratty sound, but it's a little different because of that smaller Tele neck pickup. And then the coup de grace, a little trick that it does, is what we saw on the Stratocaster. If you pull up on the knurled knob, which is easier to actually pull
way
up on, in either position 1 or 2, it gives you the neck pickup. So you can have you can have basically like on the Strat setup, you can have both of these set up together, because middle in this would give you mid pickup, not both. So if you still want that telly sound, you do position 1 and pull up. And that's that typical telly middle sound. And then if you go to the position 2 with it up, you get all 3 on at the same time.
It's a very cool guitar, and I will say, if you are, the belly carves.
I like the belly
on
carves.
both tellies. So we have had so many customers come in recently. We've had these for a little bit and been forbidden.
Prohibited.
We cannot speak about them until they're launched, which is fair. So I have had to skirt the line, and with people looking for certain things, have been like, I don't know. There might be some stuff coming in soon. I don't know. I'll let you know. So finally, we can talk to people about it.
Yeah, I had a conversation the other day like that because these effectively replaced the Deluxe series, which was around for years. And someone was looking for a Deluxe, and I couldn't tell them.
Yeah.
Oh well, just hang out for a bit.
Luckily, everybody in the store has followed the rules thus far, and there's been no problems. But
That's right, Fender.
I will single you out. Chris Brown, not the abhorrent person. I'm talking about Chris Brown, I believe, from Oregon. This is the one that I was alluding to. This might be the one for you. And if anybody out there wants to void their warranty, we can send this one out to Joe Glaser in Nashville. Get a B-bender on there for you.
That'd be cool.
It'll be a Brent Mason in disguise.
Easy to do. So I've got a Baja Telly I love. I've talked about it before. I love the thick neck on it and everything. About the only thing that I would probably change on this, because I have a personal preference, is I'd do those different...
3 on the tree?
Yeah, the 3 on the tree. I would go to the brass saddles. But I actually like the comfort of these, and so I'd probably play for a little bit, because honestly, the one thing I don't like about those is if you're palm muting and you're resting, which you do a lot on a telly, let's be honest, to get that kind of chicken picket sound, this is more comfortable than my telly is, with the raised sides and everything. I like this guitar a lot. This may be my favorite. And, I love that it's... Okay. You don't need locking tuners so much without a tremolo. But it's still nice to have.
It is nice for the ease of switching.
For the ease of restringing. Yep, you don't need any wraps. And you are probably going to have better tuning stability unless you're really good with restringing your guitars, just because there's not a bunch of wraps. And so it's going to sound better. But yeah, all in all, I really like the new range.
Really nice guitars. The feel is there. It's almost like I said, it's an Ultra that's right around $1,000 as of right now. And if you want to spend double that, basically, for an American Ultra, there are a few things that you're getting. But these are under the price of an American Professional. It's got noiseless pickups. It's got locking tuners, which the American Professional 2 do not. It's just, it's a competitive player in the game. It's a competitive player plus.
Well, so I love the sound of these noiseless pickups. You're going to put them through their paces so you can get an idea of exactly how they sound. So take a listen. So there you have it. There's a rundown of the 4 main guitars in the new Player Plus lineup: the Telecaster, the the Stratocaster, HSS Stratocaster, the Nashville Tele, and the Telecaster. Available in a host of new finishes and some classic ones like this, 3-tone sunburst, things like that. And let's run down the specs real quick again. Alder body, maple neck, you get maple or palo ferro, you get a satin finish, maple medium jumbo frets, rolled fingerboard edges, you get locking tuners. The thing I wanted to mention earlier, you get a tone bleed circuit on the knob for the volume so you can turn down and you don't lose the high end, which is so awesome. And you get some great switching depending upon which guitar. They all have special switching. That's part of the Plus and the Plus. So you can get all the sounds plus more. 7 sounds on this, 7 sounds on that one, and I think 6 on that. 7.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This one's got 4.
A lot of great tonal combinations on these. Fantastic upgraded hardware and noiseless pickups. Now, I love noiseless pickups. These particularly sound fantastic. There are people out there who are jaded that say it doesn't really sound like a Stratocaster or Telecaster if it's noiseless. I call those people unemployed. You know?
Oh.
Because if you're playing a gig have you ever been in a gig where like they put you next to the popcorn machine or the giant array of like neon lights?
Yeah, or you want to just record at home and your amp's plugged in near a bunch of extra crap.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that John Mayer's hit song called Neon is really written out of frustration because his custom shop Stratocaster kept buzzing next to the neon lights. I don't know that that's true, but I like creating rumors on the internet.
Silver Sky doesn't have noiseless pickups. He's not following his own advice.
I know. I tell you what, he's still buzzing like neon.
He's buzzing.
So, anyways,
Oh man.
all in all, these are fantastic guitars. I think a great upgrade. So pricing, let's talk about that real quick. These are just now debuting as you're watching this video, and the Strat and the Telecaster are $999 and $30 more for the Nashville or the HSS models.
I think that's a good deal.
I think it is a good deal. I think they're very worthy of the price. And you know, I'll say something Maurice said a long time ago when he visited the factory, the Fender factory in Mexico. You could eat off the floor there. Like, it's so amazing the work they do, the cutting edge stuff that they've got, and the pride that they take in their work. That for a long time, I think these have been incredible values. And something that is not a feature of these, but is something that you should be aware of for the first run of them. This is the 75th anniversary of Fender, and all of these first runs will have the 75th anniversary on the back of the headstock. These guitars will still be available next year, but they won't have that. So a little extra thing that I think is pretty cool.
That is very cool. I think that they're really putting a lot of thought into a lot of different options from the Mexican factory with Ventera, Vendera Road Worn, Noventa Player, and now Player Plus. You know, takes away the deluxe, but it's upgraded. You know, so there's a big range in price there for the most part, but all really good choices. This kind of being the top of the line from that factory, I think it's something to be proud of for sure, and they just sound really good.
And for about the same money, you can get an American Performer, and there's a real, we should probably do that at some point in a video, because I think there's a real argument to be made that some cases these would be the better choice.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I would say so.
Excellent. Also, come with a gig bag, we should mention. If you're watching this 6 months from now, check our website and see if pricing has changed at all. What website is that, Cooper?
I think it's alamomusic.com.
It is.
Yeah.
And you can chat with people, like live, actual individuals, and get help finding the guitar that best suits your needs. At the end of the day, the very best guitar in the world is the one that you're playing, and I think I might be playing this Nashville Tele. So,
Plus.
we want to help you this Nashville Tele Plus. We want to help you find the perfect guitar to suit your needs. That's why we do these videos. So make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, and in the description, check out our Patreon page and learn about becoming an Alamo Music Insider. Thanks so much for watching. Stay plus, everybody. See you next time.